In 4 years, you've been hanging in these YouTube streets. Congratulations, you just earned your bachelor's degree. You wanna clap them cheeks? You wanna clap them cheeks?
Y'all, listen, I'm not saying that I'm always right. I'm just saying that I'm ridiculously intelligent, and I'm mostly always right. Anyways, moving on from the point of I'm always right, obviously not, we are gonna take a look at some footage, some evidence, some receipts that may just cast a different light on the Meg the Stallion situation, right? Now, I'm just saying, y'all, I'm Team Tory. I was Team Tory because the story didn't make sense. That's just what it was. The story didn't make sense to me. Her story didn't make sense. It wasn't tracking. It was all messy and whatever. And now we have some evidence as to why. So before we watch the video of Meg herself trying to tap dance, and I'm telling you, I'm going to show y'all. There's a thing called Duper's Delight. I'm going to show you evidence of it on Meg in her response. But before we go there, let's take a look right here, okay? So you can see here it says, Lane cites driver's new statement in appellate petition as Megan says, read a real journalist. Right? And so Tory Lanez has filed a 45-page habeas petition seeking resentencing that includes a statement from his former bodyguard and driver who did not testify in his trial. Okay? And we're going to get to him not testifying in the trial. Okay? And why that happened. Because he was present, ready, willing, able. It wasn't his fault he didn't testify in the trial. But what is it that this driver said, the information that Tory always wanted to present in court? What is that information, right? What is that information that made Tory so sure that he was going to be exonerated? He wanted his day in court, remember, y'all? Well, let's take a look here. So it says, in the Court of Appeal of the State of California, 2nd Appellate District, Division 3, okay, Daystar Peterson is the petitioner, that's Tory Lanez, versus Superior Court of Los Angeles, the respondent, okay, of habeas corpus, Court of Appeal. All right. So affidavit of Jaquan Smith. Now, who is Jaquan Smith? Well, that was like his bodyguard / driver at the time of the incident, okay, and he was actually present. And the only sober person present, might I add. Now, let's take a look at what Jaquan Smith says. He says, Jaquan Smith deposed and states as follow, my name is Jaquan Smith. My address is redacted. I am over the age of 18 years and I am fully competent to testify. I have firsthand knowledge of the facts in question that took place on July 12, 2020. That is the basis of the above cited proceedings. I was the driver and bodyguard of Mr. Daystar Peterson, who is better known as Tory Lanez, in July of 2020. Mr. Peterson has been known to me for 7 years. At the time of the incident, I had worked for Mr. Peterson for 3 years. He has not only been my employer, but I also consider him to be a close personal friend. On July 12, 2020, I was asked to drive Mr. Peterson to the home of Kylie Jenner, where Ms. Megan Pete and Kelsey Harris were present. Megan Pete is Meg the Stallion, if you didn't know. Okay. Mr. Peterson was at Ms. Jenner's home for approximately 2 hours when I received a call to come pick up Ms. Pete and Ms. Harris. Ms. Pete, Ms. Harris, and myself left Ms. Jenner's home, but I was asked by Ms. Pete to return because she stated that she had forgotten a shoe. Okay, so originally, Ms. Pete, Meg the Stallion, Kelsey, and the driver left Jenner's home, but then was asked to return by Ms. Pete because she stated she had forgotten a shoe. So she left without a shoe and came back to get the shoe. So she had only one shoe on when she left? That's shady AF. And originally, Tory Lanez is not with them. Okay. So when we arrived at Ms. Jenner's home at this time, Ms. Harris stayed in the car while Ms. Pete exited. Ms. Pete did not enter the home at this time as she went around the back to the pool area where Mr. Peterson was located. Okay? Meg Thee Stallion didn't go into the home. She went into the back to go get Tory Lanez. Okay. Both Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez returned to the car after a few minutes. Now, Meg Thee Stallion was bickering, but he was unsure of the exact words she was saying. She seemed upset. The four of us left Ms. Jenner's residence. He says, as I began to drive, Ms. Pete, Meg Thee Stallion, started to fight with Mr. Peterson, Tory Lanez. They were going back and forth. I remember Mr. Peterson saying to Ms. Pete that he was going to tell Ms. Harris what was going on. Okay, so that means Tory Lanez looked at Meg Thee Stallion and said, listen, I got to tell Kelsey what's going on. And he said, I do not remember what street we were on, okay? But Meg Thee Stallion asked me to stop the vehicle. This is what Jaquan saying. I did as she asked, and then Meg Thee Stallion went to sit on a nearby bus stop. Tory Lanez went and spoke with Ms. Pete, a.k.a. After about 2 minutes, they returned to the car, and I began driving again. At that point, Meg Thee Stallion started the argument again, and Ms. Harris, Kelsey, asked what was going on. Tory Lanez told her that he and Meg Thee Stallion had been dating and intimate. Kelsey was upset by this, since she was, dating Tory Lanez at the time. And in the same manner, prior to any relationship with Meg Thee Stallion. So Meg Thee Stallion and Kelsey started fighting. At that point, Jaquan, the driver, he says, I pulled over to stop them. Meg Thee Stallion and Kelsey both got out of the vehicle and continued to fight, both verbally and physically. Jaquan broke up this fight and was pulling Meg Thee Stallion towards the back of the car. So he broke up the fight. He's pulling Meg Thee Stallion towards the back of the car. He looks up, and what does he see? He sees Kelsey with a gun in her hand. Kelsey with a gun in her hand. Tory Lanez ran from behind Meg Thee Stallion and Jaquan. Okay, so at that point, so what happened? So we know for sure whose gun this is, or at least who produced it, okay? Because the way the situation is, you've got Jaquan, the driver here. He's pulling back Meg. Meg's like, no, right? And he's pulling back Meg. Meanwhile, Tory Lanez is behind the two of them. But when everyone sees that Kelsey has a gun, at that point, Tory Lanez comes forward and goes for Kelsey. What did he do? Well, Tory Lanez and Kelsey began struggling as Mr. Peterson, Tory Lanez, tried to unarm Kelsey. Meanwhile, Jaquan was still pulling Meg Thee Stallion and didn't see who shot the weapon. Jaquan says, I was lucky I was not harmed. And in my opinion, Meg Thee Stallion was also very fortunate. The whole incident happened so quickly, within just a couple minutes. Remember, this is the only sober person that was there at the time. And now, he says, I saw Kelsey with the gun in her hand. I saw Tory Lanez ran from behind Meg and myself towards Kelsey. Tory Lanez and Kelsey began struggling as Tory Lanez tried to unarm Kelsey. Amazing. So he was only anywhere near the gun, which is why they found a female's fingerprints, and then sure his also, because he was trying to disarm her. Now, Jaquan, the driver, he said, I wanted to present this evidence during Mr. Peterson's trial, but was prevented from doing so as the district attorney was not ready to cross-examine me, and later they did not call me due to the holidays and the court schedule. I believe I should have been allowed to present this evidence at trial. Okay? Now, furthermore from that, before we listen and watch Meg Thee Stallion's response, okay, I want y'all to take a look, because again, Tory Lanez was always so sure, A, of his innocence, B, that he knew what the facts were. And he knew that everyone there knew what the facts were. And so he felt a little guilty because he knew he was sleeping with both these women, and had he not been sleeping with both of them, A, and B, if he had not at that time, when tempers had risen and everyone's drunk, if he had not come out and exposed it at that time that he had been intimate with Meg Thee Stallion, so therefore both him and Meg Thee Stallion are both, treacherous, then Kelsey probably would never have pulled that gun. So that explains why he was, feeling a little guilty about the whole situation, and at the same time also not wanting to put Kelsey on blast just to save his own self initially, right? Initially, just like, yo, let's all just leave it alone because this is a bad situation, but I can see how I put my girlfriend into this situation, right? Well, eventually, if y'all remember, they started doing a lot of this and a lot of lying, and he said, okay, well, I'm done with that then. Y'all are trying to fry me? Y'all are trying to send me to prison? Okay, well, let's tell the truth then. But if you look here, it says, well, Tory Lanez's first lawyer told him blaming Kelsey Harris for shooting Meg Thee Stallion was not a viable strategy. And for those of y'all who don't know this, the truth is not always the best strategy or a viable strategy. Like, your lawyer doesn't even necessarily care about the truth. They care about what may be compelling or convincing in a court, or what they feel that they can prove in a court. And so what the lawyer said is like, no, I don't feel like I can win the case if I come forward with this. Not that it wasn't even true. It didn't matter if it was true. For her, this was not a viable strategy. It says, in a rare public airing of case strategy, emails from Lanez's former lawyer were unsealed after his new lawyers persuaded him to waive his attorney-client privilege. So you can take a look here at the email, and it says, Tory. And if you look at the date up there, it says November 21st, 2022. It says, Tory, as we discussed on Saturday, I'm not comfortable advancing this Kelsey defense, primarily because I don't find it to be a viable strategy. I don't believe my position will change unless Quan is persuasive in the preview of his testimony, and you are persuasive under mock cross-examination by George and or Lisa. Even if both of those benchmarks, Quan and you, so Jaquan's testimony, the only sober person who observed everything, right, and him. So even if both those benchmarks were satisfied, I am still not certain that I would be willing to go forward with that defense strategy, right? In light of that, you should discuss with George his willingness and ability to move forward with that defense. And if he can do so by the trial date, December 6th, I'll help him get up to speed. If that is something you/he are interested in, all the best, Sean. So you can see right here, like, he's being told November 21st that, like, his trial's like in 2 weeks, and like, hey, if you can convince someone else and you can do this, you can prove this. I don't even know if that'll convince me, but if you can try to convince this other person and whatever, listen, I just don't think it's the best strategy for you. I mean, it's the truth, but like, I just don't think it's the best strategy for you. So that's what then was like, hey, listen, we're going to let Jaquan testify anyway, except no, they didn't allow him to testify, did they? Did not allow the bodyguard to testify. As he said, he wanted to present this evidence during Tory Lanez's trial, but was prevented from doing so as the district attorney was not ready to cross-examine him, and later they did not call him due to the holidays and then the court schedule. And I believe, and I think everyone believed at the time even, that he should have been allowed to present that evidence at trial. Obviously. To be honest with you, I'm going to say Meg Thee Stallion responded, but it's barely a response. It's barely a response. Y'all will see why in a second. It's barely a response, though. It's weird. And we're going to look at a couple evidentiary points that kind of prove to me that she's guilty of sin. But okay, let's take a look here now.
Imagine y'all saying somebody is following the street code, not snitching. Are you snitching or are you not snitching? Because y'all trying to pretend like Kelsey shot me. Kelsey didn't motherfucking shoot me. And I really wonder why her main problem with me was, you won't tell people I didn't shoot you. I was like, Kelsey, I don't want to talk about this on social media at all. But now you won't even get online and defend yourself. So that really just proves my points. Either you took some money or your life is in danger. Like, why won't you get online and say,
hold on. Are y'all seeing her face? I want y'all to see, right? Look at that. Y'all see that? She is sucking back the delight. She thinks this is amusing, hilarious. It's called duper's delight, okay? It's a thing that liars, deceivers get when they're like, they know they're about to lie. They know that they've got this convincing lie and whatever, and they get this delight. They get this charge from being able to convince everybody that they're telling the truth when they know they're not. Right? And they can't help but smile as a result. Right? So this is supposed to be some big trauma, right? She's not supposed to be smiling. But she already convinced everybody of what she wanted to convince everybody of. She's already punished the man. Right? She already protected her friend because she probably felt guilty because she was sleeping with her friend's man, which is why she pulled out a gun to begin with. So that made her a trash bucket, and she didn't want to lose her character, so she couldn't say that. So instead, you just got to be like, no, this is all about how Tory treated me. Blame it all on the man. The sisterhood forever, right? Okay. And now you can see the duper's delight. Let's keep watching, though, right? So she's trying to say, you snitching or you not snitching? Well, if you remember, no, he didn't say anything. It was you, Meg. You're the one who started coming with your foolishness. And that at that point, that's when he felt the need to defend himself. And even then, he only felt the need to go as far as he did as far as, like, listen, 10 years is a long time, 10, 20 years, life, whatever. You got to tell the truth. For you to be so vindictively pursuing putting him in prison for a crime you all know he didn't commit, yeah, what was he supposed to do? Not tell the truth? When all he was trying to do, in essence, is save you from getting shot by your friend because, you know, you're a skeezy hoe? Okay, let's keep watching.
Either you took some money or your life is in danger. Like, why won't you get online and say, bitch, because this is what y'all care about. Y'all care about online. Because the case, if you say you didn't shoot me, why won't you get on the stand and say, I didn't shoot this bitch? You say it online every day. You figure out how to get your niggas to say you didn't do it. You figure out how to get the blogs to say you didn't do it. But the one fucking would have mattered from was you. You should have said, I didn't do it. Kelsey did it. If she did it, why wouldn't you just say she did it? Kelsey, if you did not do it, why won't you just say, I did not do it?
Right. See, here's the thing. Kelsey's not saying she didn't do it because that's called perjury and it's a crime because she knows she did it. Right? Now, the truth is, he was probably wrestling the gun away from her, and her trying to keep the gun is probably what made the gun go off. It probably hit the ground. The shrapnel is probably what hit Meg, which is why she has no actual gunshot wounds in either of her feet that she claimed she got shot in both of them. And so that's what actually happened. So the truth is, though, is that Kelsey knows that it was her holding the gun and her wanting to aim the gun and shoot Meg to begin with that put her in that situation. Right? And so Meg is acting like, oh, common sense question though. Why didn't you just say that? Why didn't you just say that? Why didn't you just say that? Well, first of all, because Kelsey disappeared and they pretended the driver disappeared too, but really they were just blocking him from testifying altogether. Now, what's interesting about all of that though, is that, again, we see the email before the trial even started. Tory was trying to get this said. He was trying. What do you mean? Why didn't he? He was trying. Okay.
I know who shot me. I said who shot me, and that's why the fuck you in jail. Y'all motherfuckers are dragging it online like it's some new evidence. And that's why the fuck you in jail. Y'all motherfuckers are dragging it online like it's some new evidence. There's no new evidence. Motherfucking witnesses went missing. Why?
See? You see? I told you she's gonna... and she's the duper select because she knows she's going to bring it up again. Now, again, I don't know where Kelsey is, but we know what happened with Jaquan, and he didn't go missing. We already know what happened with him. He didn't go missing. Really, Meg? Duper's late. She can't help. She can't even suck back the smile. She is so pleased with her own deception. She is so pleased with the way that she's won the world over to be on her side. She's so pleased with it. So pleased.
I wonder why the witnesses went missing. Did y'all pay them? Why y'all showing up now? Why y'all showing up? It's about to be 2024. Y'all still fucking with me. Y'all still fucking with me. Why? Because y'all see me moving on and doing better.
Smile.
Y'all see me trying to heal and trying to grow. But y'all keep trying to bring me back this way when I'm trying to go this way.
Look at that. She's so proud of herself. So proud of herself. So, I mean, listen. It ain't over till it's over. And no, it ain't over yet, but I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. Am I right? Did Kelsey really do it?
Then 4 years you've been hanging in these YouTube streets. Congratulations, you just earned your bachelor's degree. You wanna clap them cheeks? You wanna clap them cheeks?